back every Monday, every Thursday, 7:30. Talking all sports all the time. Donnie Mac, how you feeling, buddy?
Pretty much the same way I feel every time we do this podcast, Marshentime. I'm excited, dude. I'm about to blow out of my shoes because the NBA playoffs, you got the
Yeah,
NHL playoffs, Major
yeah.
League Baseball is freaking heating up, Marshentime. Not only that, we got the WNBA kicking off,
Kicking
man.
off
This
too,
is
man.
absolutely awesome. Where you want to go with this, Marshentime?
Man, I mean, there's so much to talk about. I don't even know where we want to start. Let's start. You know what? Let's start with the guy who threw the first no hitter this year,
Yeah,
getting suspended.
let's do
Man,
that.
what
Let's
do you
do
what do you
that.
think about that? What do you think?
Uh, uh, I think it's well deserving. It's a kudos to the Major League Baseball umpires for recognizing this and seeing that was going on. I don't know if they've been watching or feeding into what they've been seeing, what was going on, but I don't know the rap behind. What I think about it, kudos to Major League Baseball for catching that first of all, getting it out of the game because that's a bad rap for our pitch. No, and here's another thought, Marshall Time. Why did he have to do it playing for the Houston Astros? I don't know if they had anything to do with this, dude. I do not know if they have anything to do with this. But you know what? Their rap says they do, and he's giving them a bad image right now.
No,
Very
hundred
bad
percent, man.
image.
Hey, I think a butt fumble, the goldfish agrees with you, man. He's over here even looking at you. He's like, yeah, I agree with you, man. Listen, the Houston Astros, they just can't catch a break, dude. I'm
No, they
telling you.
can't. They
Like,
can't, man.
if they were a part of this, man,
Hey, Robin, Fast Eddie,
you
welcome
got to be
in, guys.
kidding me, dude. Like, these guys have got to start figuring something out. Like, you guys are just now getting over the scandal of sign stealing, and now you're going to go into this. It's a little scary, man.
You
I
can't
don't know how I
afford
feel
that,
about
right,
it.
Marshall?
Exactly. You
Exactly.
can't.
You can't afford that right now. And uh, I, I'm not a Houston Astros fan. I'm a baseball fan, and that's bad for baseball.
Exactly.
First
That's
of
what we
all,
always are.
that's bad for our 2-time, 3-time World Series champion the last 10 years. So, to me, being a baseball fan, that insults me there. But number two, on the outside looking in, that's pretty comical. It's pretty freaking comical because the umpire Marshentime that caught this said this is some of the stickiest substances he ever seen in his life in anything in
Listen,
baseball.
I don't know what
So
you're talking about. He didn't know it was illegal. He already said that, man. He didn't know it was illegal. Come on, man.
I mean,
Take
through an interpreter.
responsibility. You know,
Through
if you
an
do
interpreter.
it, take
Exactly.
responsibility.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
Marshentime. Own up
it's
to
just
it,
weird.
take it. They handed down a 10-game suspension. Now that's unclear if that's 10 days in a row or if that's 10 starts or you know what I mean, 2 starts for him, 10 starts for him. I'm pretty sure it's only 2 starts for him. I think that's a very minute punishment for him, considering a guy. Now, if I'm MLB, I look back in the history, considering a guy that hasn't gone past 6 innings in his whole major league career or any start ever in his career, all the way date back to the Dominican Republic where he come from. Marshentime, he pitched a no hitter early on this year.
I mean, yeah. Listen, I'm surprised about what they did.
He's got a
I really thought it was going
2.09
to be
ERA.
Yeah, I really
Two-run
thought it was going to be
ERA.
a bigger suspension. I'm going to be honest. I was really expecting like at least half a season. I thought, and just not coming out and saying, oh, well, I didn't know it was illegal. You knew it was illegal. Like, come on, everybody knows in baseball that you can't have something on your hand
That's
or
the
your
wrong
glove or
answer.
anything like that.
That's the wrong
Like, there's
answer.
no way that's legal. Like, come on, man.
That
You
is
knew
the
it.
absolute
Everybody
100.
knew it. Don't start getting into that stuff. Just admit that you did wrong and say that you did it. It's move on. Like, come on. But the Houston Astros got to figure something out, man. Because if they were a part of this, I'm telling you, they're going to be getting in some deep, deep, deep trouble.
Now, one thing that they will not allow to happen is him to say that they knew about it. Okay, he's already owned up to it and said he didn't know it was illegal. That tells me his 4-0 start and his 2-run ERA is absolute BS. It's inflated, especially in the American League when you got these sluggers like Aaron Judge over there right now hitting 11 dingers, hitting 250. Their slugging percentage is 900 and 1,000 through the roof. You cannot tell me that he has not been doing that since day one. You cannot convince me anymore.
It's definitely
now,
something that I can
Marshentime.
agree with you.
like I'm an A-Rod fan. I used to have until my dog, helped me out with that, but I used to have an A-Rod jersey hanging here, but he himself was busted in a steroid era,
Yeah.
whatever, took his suspension, owned up to it, did his suspension not once, but twice, came back. The very first night he's back, hits a dinger. You know what I mean? Sends a message back to the continued to have a great season and everything. If Blanco comes back, here's my whole point. Blanco comes back and he does that. I'll take every one of these words and comments from start 1 to 4 back. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll have to hold you to that, man. Listen, I'll hold you to it. So, but that's kind of all I really want to talk about with that. That's it's a bad scenario for Major League pitching. You know, if he wasn't the guy who threw the no hitter, the first no hitter this year, I don't think it'd be
Yeah,
as big of a deal.
it's a big deal now.
But because
He's got
was
a
that no hitter
2-run
legit?
ERA.
Is that no hitter legit? It's kind of weird. He's
Mhm.
4-0. That's something you got to look into now with Major League Baseball. It's hard for them to say that hey you were cheating every game, but kind of looks like a way.
That's a big deal, Cody. That's a big deal, man. But everything else we've seen in baseball, not such a big deal. He put a little bit of pine tar. Well,
Hmm?
obviously it wasn't pine tar because it's the stickiest stuff this umpire's ever seen in his life. So I mean, he's doing some good stuff. Hey, it's happened before. Some of our best that we've ever watched in baseball, this has happened with. It's happened with
That is
some of
true.
the greatest throughout the years. So it is what it is. It's part of baseball. I think he'll bounce back. I really do. I think he'll
Okay,
bounce back, and I think he's going to be strong for the Houston Astros. But anyways, on to that. Next on your slate, Martian time.
man. On my slate, man, you're killing me.
Now,
Why is it my
well,
slate?
okay.
You got to help
No,
us out here, buddy.
I'm saying it's.
I got
I'm
my first
saying
one. Let's give me yours. Give me your first
listen.
comment.
Well, my first comment is obviously is going to be basketball right now, and the
Of
Boston
course.
Booty Cheeks and the Boston Booty Cheeks.
I'm out of here. I'm
You
leaving.
know what? Listen, listen. The Boston. That's my
Bring
first comment.
bring it,
Do
old
not.
Tingus Pingus. Let's
Do
go.
not. Everybody that's following our TikToks, Martian Times 3-0 on our
Uh,
TikToks, Hard Rock Locks of the Night, he is on fire. But anybody that's following that right there, notice one thing that we do not put Jason Tatum #1 or the Boston Booty Cheeks on our lines. And there's a
no,
reason why, because Cleveland should have never won a game in this series right here. Now, the New
definitely
York
not.
Knicks, I will say this: the New York Knicks are showing their depth right now. Alec Burke coming off the
Yeah,
bench, hitting a lot of stuff for them right now. Boston Booty Cheeks might be in trouble if they think they're going to lackadaisically come around Big Body Brunson and try that crap, because it's not going
listen.
to happen.
Well, hey, the Knicks haven't made it yet, man.
They
Let's
haven't.
hold off for a
You're
little.
right.
So you
You're
never
right
know.
about that. You're
But
right
the
about that.
Pacers look like a team that's just not. They don't deserve to be in the Eastern
They are
Conference
undefeated
Finals.
at home, though, Martian time.
But
They
right
are
now, I'm going to
undefeated.
be honest. The Pacers don't deserve to be there, and the Boston Celtics don't deserve to be there because they have
Oh
played
man,
nobody. I
they
mean, they
make me
have played
sick.
teams that are just miserable, broken, hurt teams. And the East just
And
looks so bad, man. The West is
anybody
just
that's
so
watching
good.
this
I'm
podcast,
so
I
sorry
take
for the Eastern Conference champion.
I apologize for the Boston Booty Cheeks. If you're a Boston fan, I really
I don't.
apologize
I
for
don't
that.
apologize for it. I
Hey,
don't
Martian Time
apologize for
doesn't,
it.
but Donnie Mac does. Okay, so don't depart us there.
No, I'm not apologizing. Crap. They don't deserve to be there, man. It's embarrassing. And play a real team. Play a team that's full health at least. At least something. You know what I mean? Like I'm over it.
Hey, so I'll throw this in there while we're talking about the Boston Celtics and what they did when they eliminated the Cavs right there in Game 5. Rightfully so, without a Donovan Mitchell, without a Jaron Allen. That's what the best team in the NBA should have done, right, Marshall Time? We don't
100.
disagree
percent
with that, right? But they should have covered the 16-point spread. But anyways, beyond that, Al Horford just made history, surpassing LeBron James on the oldest player in the NBA, right? They have 5 assists, 5 rebounds. I think it was no. I'm sorry. It was double,
Pretty much what you're
5-5.
saying
There
is
you
he's
go.
old. Like, that's all you're saying
Yeah,
is he's
he's
old.
old. He's old.
Like, I'm
But
disappointed
Al
in you calling
Horford,
Al Horford old. Al Horford's been in the league for as long as I can remember. So, I mean, yeah, he's old. Leave the guy alone.
as long as you were in diapers, right? So
I'm telling you, man, he's
as
old,
far
but
as
hey, he's
Al
still playing
Horford goes,
hard.
I'll tell you this though, his efficiency on the court, he was plus 12 for the team. So that did, Boston's depth. That's speaking for their depth. Put it that way.
100% on that one. The depth in Boston is good. And, they have one of the greatest role players and the highest role players paid of all time. So, I mean, they should be. Their best players are Derek White and Jaylen Brown right now. So, and they're paying Jason Tatum how much money? I mean, listen,
Well,
Boston is deep.
I think they're paying Jaylen Brown even more money there, Marshentime.
It's ridiculous.
It's
It's ridiculous
over
what is
5
going
or 6
on.
years. Yeah.
And Tingus Ping is not in. I think he's supposed to be back for the next series, though. So we'll see what the Booty Cheeks can do against the. I see the Knicks coming in and playing them, and I see the Knicks giving them a run for their money. So, because I think Brunson is the real deal.
Listen,
and you know what?
I think so too.
Listen, I know what happens
so too.
when Boston starts losing. They are going to lose that game.
They're going to.
And
shut
if they're
down.
losing at halftime, they're not going to win because Jason Tatum cannot play from behind.
And I'll tell you one thing about Big Body Brunson. He's the second guy to me to the Joker. As far as toughness goes in this NBA league today, that is one tough Joker. You can watch him take a banging.
True.
He'll go in the locker room. He'll wrap that Joker up, and he'll come back out, and he'll put up 30 on the board after that. So this dude is the real deal. If he's on the court, I give the New York Knicks a shot, period. Same thing for the Joker, man. Best player in the world. I give him a shot when he hits the floor.
Listen, Joker is just a different breed. He's
a
freak of nature. By his own words, he is the freak of nature, man. I'm telling you, this dude is special. If you haven't watched Joker play, go watch him play against the defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert, and he's still putting up 30 points. It's crazy, man. I love it.
Not only that. No, listen, you don't grasp the situation of what this guy did in the third quarter. On this last game that they just routed the Timberwolves, you don't grasp what he did in the third quarter was the best third quarter for any player in the history of the NBA in playoffs or regular season. Okay,
dude, he makes it look so easy too. It's not even a challenge for him.
No, I need you to calm down right now. This dude, not only did he go down the floor on the first possession and post up and score the defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert, a 7-footer, okay? He did that. Not only that, this second possession, he come down on the floor and consecutive possessions, 3 7-footers, he schooled and took them different ways to the basket and scored. The second time was the 6th man of the year in Naz Reid. He did the same thing to him, another 7-footer, consecutive, back to back to back. And the third one, a perennial all-star in Karl Anthony Towns. He did that 3 times back to back to back. That is why he is the best player in the world, the MVP. That is why the Denver Nuggets are the reigning champion.
And my Hard Rock lock of the night. Tonight,
there you
to
are.
win. Denver Nuggets on the money line, guys. If you want to go get your Hard Rock lock of the night before that game starts, I'm taking Denver Nuggets to win on the money line, man. They're taking it outright.
And you know what? I can't doubt that at all. And I threw you a couple of more Hard Rocks in there. We got a good in-game parlay going between the two of us on our A63 Sports Buzz, and it's going to hit Marshentime. It's going to hit. It's going to come through.
Listen, take Donnie Mac's word at a little bit of a great assault right now, there, guys. He's 1-2. I need him to start picking it up, though. He's making me look bad.
It's going to come through, dude, and we're going to lock this in. We're going to go 3-0 for the night. I'm going to go 2-0. You're going to go 1-0 to keep it perfect.
Listen, I need some perfect scores from you, buddy. That's all I need.
Without further ado, Marshentime, I got a quick thing for you here, and it's going to be quick. It's going to be a game called Chop It or Drop It. If you're going to chop it, you're going to talk about it. You're going to tell us everything you want to talk about for it. You know what I mean? If you're going to drop it, you're going to drop it. I'm going to give you one more selection, but you have to chop that if you drop the first one. So here we go. We're going to start it out in the NBA. The Joker, the real MVP. Is he going to be a top 10 all-time? People are talking about this right now, Marshentime. You want to chop this or drop this?
Is he going to be top 10 all time? Chop it or drop it. Listen, man, that's a tough one. I want to chop this, but I want to know what the other one you say is. So, but you
I
know
will
what?
tell you,
Listen,
but you can't chop it.
listen, man, we're going with it. We're chopping this one because you know what? Nikolai Jokic is definitely going to be in the top 10. This dude is built different. He has shown that he can shoot threes, he can rebound, he can assist, he can score. He does it all
Absolutely.
so well. This guy is the top of the league right now. There's nobody even close to him, I think, on this mountain right now. Like he's on Mount Everest, while the other guys are, in like the North Carolina. It's like in the Blue Ridge Mountains. But Jokic is just that high up. He's on Everest, man. He's just sitting there waiting, waving, like, "Hey guys, you gonna come visit me?"
Yeah,
He's a
they're still in
freak
the
of
Smokies.
nature. Listen, when you can pass the ball behind and like act like he does, he's just nonchalant. It's not. It doesn't even come hard to him, which is insane. Other guys work so hard. This guy rather just go to his ranch and play with horses, and he still does what he does. I'm
Now
loving
that
it, dude.
now that you're chopping this Martian time, better than Shaquille O'Neal by the end of his year,
one Hundred
his
percent.
tenure.
Listen,
100%.
listen.
There you go.
So here's the thing:
There you
Shaquille
go.
O'Neal and Nikolai Jokic is two completely different players.
That is true.
Nikolai Jokic is a guy who can score, can assist, and a guy who can get rebounds. But he's not the
And
physical
that's
force that
no,
Shaquille O'Neal was.
that's
You didn't
why
want to go up and
no,
try to get a
no.
charge or anything from Shaquille O'Neal. You weren't stepping in front of Shaquille O'Neal. Like you just weren't doing it. If you were, you were gonna get hurt. Like that's just how it was. Nikolai Jokic, he doesn't need to run you over. He's just gonna go around you somehow or pass it perfectly to an outside wide open guy because you have the double teamer. It's just a completely different thing. But yeah, Jokic is going to be a top 10 player all time. There's no doubt in my mind about that. The way his mind is, like I've said, he's the smartest basketball player I think we've ever seen on this court, and that's just the
I
way it
think
is.
you know what, Marshall. Time I side with you on that, and we're going to move on to our next chopper drop it. I'll tell you the next selection, but we cannot chop that one. We have to drop it and move on to our next category. But I will say this: he's the best. By the time that we pass on and move on from this earth, he's going to be the best center that we've ever seen play the game of
100%.
basketball. The
100%.
best. So the second one was Anthony Edwards, next face of the league or not. We cannot chop
Mm,
that one. We
mm,
got to drop it. We're going to
mm.
moving on to
Good
Major
stuff.
League Baseball, and I'm going to elect that we drop the first one. It's going to be Giorgio Blanco getting ejected in the fourth inning
Oh, yeah,
over
we're
his
dropping that
sticky
already.
substance.
We talked.
We already dropped that. Catchers. Here's the next big subject. Catchers should look out for themselves when at that plate. To hell with everything else everybody else is telling them. Why should they put themselves in danger from an Aaron Judge bat to the forearm?
So we're obviously chopping this already because we already chopped
You
the other one,
have to
huh?
chop this,
All
Martian
right,
time.
so
This
we're
is on
chopping
you,
this.
baseball
Got it.
guy.
Listen, a catcher's
Now
job
we
is
know what happened to Contreras. We
we
know
did
what happened.
broken all. I think what he broke like three or
Yeah,
three bones or something, right?
three
It's
bones. He's the
crazy.
best catcher in the game because they, as a strategy, they're moving him up in the box behind the
Yeah.
batter, and it's not the batter's fault. It's not the
No,
batter's
no,
fault.
it's not.
That's
It's
his
not.
wheelhouse. That's where he swung. What are your feelings on it? If you're a catcher in the major leagues today, Marshall Time, are you going to go with that strategy and take your chance, or are you going to try and protect yourself, bro?
Listen, I think you got to take it with a grain of salt. You got to do a little bit here, a little bit there. Yeah, you got to still be the best, but yeah, you got to protect yourself a little bit, man. I mean, you're a catcher is like the coordinator of this whole team. The catcher is what coordinates the team and what keeps the team going, and they need you out there. They need the best catcher they have out there. You got to protect yourself, but you also got to be that ready to throw somebody out. That's what it's for. Is moving up in the box a little bit, is getting you that a little bit closer, and
Yeah.
helping you disguise the balls a little bit. Frame the balls a little bit better. So it's kind of like a little. It's 50-50 on that one. I feel like if you got a good enough arm, don't even bother. You don't need to. Yeah, Yachty. That dude.
I'll tell you.
You talk about a guy who could throw somebody out. Yeah. That dude was the best catcher of all time.
And there was a reason. You said it at first when you unloaded on this subject, and I'll put my forethought, my 2 cents in here real quick, Marshentime. But Yachty, like you said, he is the quarterback. That catcher is the quarterback of that defense 100%. Right now because he sees everything. And he's coaching that pitcher. First of all, he should know every batter that's coming to that plate.
Oh, he does. They do.
Anybody that's got a wide swing and a wide wheelhouse, Contreras should never been in that wheelhouse, okay? Yachty, we never saw that. We saw him move up. We saw him move back. We saw him always constantly shift in position and behind the plate right there, and that is why right there. I just think that he was not coached correctly on doing that. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, it's going to happen every once in a while. There's nothing.
It is.
It's going to happen. There's going to be accidents, of course. It's not on purpose. If the batter was just doing his job, he was trying to swing at the ball, and that's what happens sometimes. We've seen catcher interference before. We've seen all that stuff. Sometimes it's just a slight move of the arm or something that you weren't really thinking of, and you moved your arm out a little bit more than you thought you did, and you got caught by it. It's nobody's fault. It's going to happen, But yeah, you got to take a little bit with. Maybe I should back up a little bit more. Maybe I should stay back a little bit. If you got the arm, especially if you got the arm like he did, you didn't need to get up that close to me. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with all the catchers. I like catchers. Catchers are the mainstay of the defense. So.
Yeah, it is. It's a big deal. Even when they implemented the rule, when Buster Posey got run over at the plate and all that deal happened. You know what I mean? That I was into that, man, because I'm a big fan of it also, Marshentime. I'm with you on that one. You make some very, very valid points there. So I'm going to move on to the NFL now, Marshentime. I'm going to get this done and over with before we got too much time to get out of it. NFL, first one, chop it or drop it. Falcons, do they have a problem?
No, drop it. We're not doing it.
Number 2, Tua is definitely potentially going to be the highest paid NFL quarterback in the league after he signs here in the next 2 or 3 days.
Hell no. This is just not even Donnie Mac. Get out of here. You knew I was going to drop the Atlanta thing because you knew that I didn't have a problem with what happened. Yeah, I don't agree with what happened. But they're looking for the future. You're doing this to Tua. Tua does not deserve to be the highest paid quarterback. He doesn't even deserve to be the top 5. No, we're not doing this.
There you go, Fast Eddie. That was for you, buddy. Fast Eddie is a Denver Nuggets fan. You do know he's from Denver. He's from Colorado. He is a big Broncos fan. He's a big Denver.
I'm sorry.
Denver Nuggets fan. He's a Colorado fan, but he is.
At least he got the Nuggets. Woohoo! That's about it right now, buddy.
He's a big fan. He's a big fan of those Nuggets. Or
probably the worst quarterback room in
after the first 2 games of this series, he was calling the Pirates. Okay, so he was pretty pissed off about that. So number 3, you got to chop this up. Caitlin Clark shot 5 for 15, 10 turnovers, had 20 points, 3 assists. And I'll throw this in there, Marshentime. This was the second best defensive team in the WNBA last year, and they've got a 4-time all-defensive team player on that team. Are you really chopping this, man? What can you tell us about this? Is this a fluke because it's the first game? Is she going to get better? What's going to happen, Marshentime?
What was the topic here? Are we talking about Caitlin Clark or are we talking about the defense? What are we talking about here? I'm a little bit confused. Are we talking about Caitlin Clark and have just struggled the first game? Is that what we're talking about?
That's what we're talking about. Wow. 5 for 15.
Give her a break, man.
She had 20 points.
That girl has got so much pressure on her right now. She's bringing the WNBA. She already set a record for viewership in 2.1 million watching her first game. You know that's pressure. You know she feels it. But listen. You got to give her a break. I mean, not every shooter has his off nights. Look at Steph Curry. Steph Curry has not had a good year. He didn't have a great year at all this year, but he's still the greatest shooter of all time. Give her a couple of games. She'll settle in. She'll start knocking them shots down like she did in college. and she will start shooting and looking like
It
Caitlin
took
Clark
Steph 2 years
has.
to tune it up, man. It
Yeah.
took him 2 years to tune it up. And I'm with you. Like out on Marshall. Like I was pointing out, that was the best defense, the second best defensive player of the year.
I'm not even worried
Next
about
to,
that. She was missing shots she normally does, and I feel like she has some pressure on her, which
well,
she
I
will
mean,
settle
there was
down.
some swarming defense, man. These
There
girls were
was.
bumping her. They were putting the physicality on her. I saw that. The first defensive team of the year was the championships of the Las Vegas Stars. So I don't blame them for that. I think Marshall, I think you're right, man. She'll bounce back from
All
that
right,
crap
all
right
right.
there. Fast Eddie did say that he thinks the Pirates will win tonight, and it will go into game seven. Well, if they win tonight, it will not go into game
I'm not
seven.
saying it's
There,
over.
Fast
It's
Eddie.
done.
It's over with. They've won that series. They'd be
They're
four to
3 and
two.
2.
But if Minnesota wins tonight, it will go to game seven. So if you're liking the Pirates tonight, the Pirates is a fake Denver Nugget, by the way.
Just because they lost the first 2 games, man. Listen, I told you. Remember when you said you thought that was going to be over. You thought the Joker was done with Anthony Edwards in game 3. I told you that Denver Nuggets were going to sweep them in Minnesota. So I just wanted to point that out. They're going to sweep them in Minnesota in game 6. Just point it out.
I don't know
win
what
all
I
3
said.
games.
I don't know what you said. So we'll have to roll back the tape there,
Uh-huh.
Marshentime. What I do know is I hope your Denver pick comes through tonight. And my picks come through, so we get a little bit of cash back on our Hard
I
Rock
hope so.
locks of the
I'm
night.
relying on you tonight, Donnie Mac. I'm a little worried about you, buddy.
Fast Eddie said they will not win tonight, and it's going to go to 7.
I'm sorry,
He
it's
said
not happening.
he don't think Denver's going to win
Minnesota
tonight.
is deflated. They're going to come out. They're going to come out so strong. Minnesota's going to take the lead in the first half. Minnesota will lead the first half, but Joker's going to take over in the second half, and they're going to finish that game off. And Minnesota's going to look even more deflated by the fourth quarter.
Well, one thing that Minnesota has done to Denver, and once they got the lead, they never relinquished that lead. So
it's going to happen tonight. Just ready to be ready. I'm already calling it, buddy.
JR, welcome in, buddy. Good to see you here, man. Anything you guys want to talk about before we head out and get rid of this podcast right here? We've got a big game on the slate tonight. The Denver Nuggets against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We've got some Hard Rock locks of the night right now. Marshentime is taking Denver Nuggets on the money line. I'm taking the Joker with a double-double and Anthony Edwards to go over 40.5 PRA. I like him as high as 44.5 PRA.
Ooh, man,
so if you even get him up that high, well, I think that Denver will win this game. And if they don't, he'll still do what he's going to do. But even in a losing effort, Anthony Edwards is still going to put up those numbers.
All right. Well, Donnie Mac, I had one question for you tonight, buddy.
Okay.
I want you to answer this. We're doing NFL. I want you to give me your Donnie Mac worst 10 teams in the NFL this year. Who doesn't even have a chance of making the playoffs from Donnie Mac's mind. And you know what? I even got our things back out, buddy. I pulled them out ready for us, so I'm going to throw them on the board as you name them out, buddy. I got you. Let's go.
So, hold on. You want me to go to 10 worst teams tonight?
10 worst teams, buddy. You don't have to give me reasoning. I just want my 10 worst teams. If you want to throw in a reasoning, go ahead. But if there's no reasoning, just throw it out there, buddy. Let's see what you got.
First one.
Who you got? Come on.
Man, oh, man. I'm going to go New England Patriots.
All right,
Pats, I'm going to go Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh, Seattle Seahawks. Okay. Not what I was expecting you to say. Where are the Seahawks at?
Hey, no Pete Carroll, man. I'm scared.
That is true.
I'm scared. I'm very scared for that. Green Bay Packers, I like them a little bit. Do I throw them in this? You got to give me 10. Cleveland.
10 of them, baby. 10 of them.
Throw Cleveland in there.
Cleveland. All right. Cleveland's going up here. There's going to be a reason for this because Monday night we're going to talk about it a little bit more. Come on, give me.
I don't see how Atlanta's going to fail that right there. The Giants. I'm going to go with the Giants.
Okay, I like that one. Where'd they go? They were up here somewhere.
I'd like to throw the Jets in there, but I'll wait until 2 minutes after the first game.
I can't. Dude, that's messed up.
This is hard to do right here, man. Only
got
got
6
4.
more, man.
I need 6 more.
6
Jeez
more.
Almighty.
There's still quite a few out there that I think you're kind of sleeping on.
I'm gonna go Arizona Cardinals with this
go.
one
Okay.
because I think Kyler Murray's probably going to end up banged up again.
5 more.
Jeez Almighty! I really want to put the Jets on this list.
There's one team I'm very disappointed in you not saying right yet.
I could go San Diego. I can go a lot of people. Jacksonville.
You can't go San Diego. They don't exist anymore.
Indianapolis could be a bad one this year. If Richardson comes back, he was so good last year. But let's throw Indianapolis up there. Let's do it.
All right. Indianapolis going up there, man. You got 6. You're still forgetting one of the worst teams last year.
Am I?
You are.
Who was the worst team?
You want me to help you out, man? You want me to throw it up there for you?
Well, the Panthers. I mean, obviously.
You so you want to throw them up there? You want to keep them in?
We got to put them up there. I mean, I don't really think they're going to make the playoffs. And I mean, unless they're going to bring Jim Mora back or something, I don't really.
D'Angelo Williams.
Steve Smith. Yeah, Steve Smith. They're going to need Jake Delhomme back. They're going to need all these guys back. The Buccaneers. More. I'm sorry, Fast Eddie.
Ooh,
I'm throwing
Buccaneers, huh?
He's got a soft spot for the Buccaneers. I was hesitant to do that last year. They did their deal. I think their offensive line's going to improve. They got a defensive-minded coach, but they lost too many defensive tools in my mind. The Buccaneers, I just don't like them. I'd like to throw the Saints in there too, but I think they've got the right backup quarterback over there right now.
Okay. 2 more.
Wow. Where do I go here? Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's throw them up there.
Listen, I'm throwing them up there with you because of their
quarterback.
Have you seen their schedule? The end of their schedule is horrible. Whew. I wouldn't want to be the Steelers at the end of the season.
But the Browns too. Deshaun Watson's not going to make it. They're going to need another quarterback.
Browns already.
I know, but that's why I'm talking about it real quick because they didn't bring back Joe Flacco because of tension.
There's one more team who you got to remember, buddy. We just talked about him. And Denver.
Oh yeah, the Broncos. Yeah. Bo Nix, I'm a believer in Bo Nix, but after last year, after Sean Payton couldn't deal with Russell Wilson, and he proved that, the defense was the reason why he won a Super Bowl to begin with, and Drew Brees, I'm with you on that one.
Listen, Monday we're doing the opposite. These 10 teams are staying up there. We're going to do our top 10 teams on Monday night.
All right.
So
let's do it.
I figured we'd do that Thursday night and Monday night. We're going to do our top 10 teams, and we're going to see why they're going to make it to the playoffs.
I hope I'm wrong with the Colts, man. I really do. I hope I'm wrong with the Colts.
I really thought you were going to go with Titans in that spot, but
no, I like them. I like what they're doing, adding the receivers and the defense that they got. Man, I really like them. I like them.
So, hey,
I think
anything else for anybody else to talk about before we go on? Say goodbye, Donnie Mac. Anything you want to say, buddy?
Fast Eddie says the Saints suck and they will fail this year. So I'll just point that out before we take off. No, that's it. Marshentime, man. Let's get out of here until Monday night, guys.
Do your job, Donnie Mac.
7:30. At 7:30, catch us here live Monday night. Until then, catch Marshentime and myself on 863 Sports Buzz TikTok and get our hard locks of the night. And until next time, Monday night, 7:30. That's Marshentime. I'm Donnie Mac. Peace.